Welcome to my channel, Hotspot with Loveth, the ultimate spot for all things entertainment, ranging from celebrity gists, reviews, interesting stories, and African folktales. Subscribe. The crisp autumn air of October carried a hint of nostalgia as Maria Jacobs pulled the neatly folded invitation from her mailbox, the ivory cardstock with gold lettering read, Harmony High School 20th Reunion. Maria's heart skipped a beat. It felt like just yesterday she was walking the halls of Harmony High, hand in hand with her first love, James Carter. Memories flooded back, late-night phone calls, stolen kisses behind the bleachers, and plans for a future together. But life had taken them in different directions after graduation. James went to college on a football scholarship, while Maria stayed in Harmony, pursuing her career of opening a bakery. They promised to stay in touch, but as the years passed, their lives diverged and the connection faded. Maria hesitated, then picked up her phone and dialed her best friend, Lucy. "Maria, are you coming to the reunion?" Lucy's voice was excited on the other end. "I don't know. Lucy, it's been so long. What if it's awkward?" Lucy laughed. "Oh, come on. It will be fun to catch up with everyone. Plus, who knows? Maybe James will be there." Maria's heart fluttered at the mention of his name. "I doubt it. He's probably too busy with his fancy life in the city." "Well, there is only one way to find out. Come on, Maria. We'll go together." Reluctantly, Maria agreed. She spent the next few days battling a mix of excitement and nerves. The thought of seeing James after all these years filled her with both hope and fear. The night of the reunion arrived and Maria stood in front of her mirror, smoothing down her emerald green dress. She took a deep breath and smiled at her reflection. She looked good, and more importantly, she felt good. Grabbing her clutch, she headed out to meet Lucy. The reunion was held in the school's gymnasium, transformed into a magical setting with twinkling lights and nostalgic memorabilia. Maria and Lucy walked in, greeted by familiar faces and warm embraces. They laughed and reminisced about old times, but Maria's eyes kept scanning the room, searching for one face in particular. Suddenly, there he was, James Carter, standing by the punch bowl, looking just as handsome as she remembered. His once boyish charm had matured into a rugged, confident presence. Maria's heart raced as their eyes met. James' face lit up with a simple smile, and he made his way over to her. "Maria Jacobs," he said, his voice a blend of surprise and warmth. "It's been too long." "James Carter," she replied, trying to keep her voice steady. "It's good to see you." They hugged, and for a moment, the years melted away. The connection they once had was still there, simmering beneath the surface. As the night progressed, Maria and James found themselves drawn together. They sat at a corner table, away from the noise and chatter, catching up on lost time. "So, tell me everything," James said, his eyes twinkling with curiosity. "How is life in Harmony?" Maria smiled. "It's been good. I opened my bakery, Sugar and Spice, a few years ago. It's been my dream come true." "I remember how much you loved baking. I'm not surprised you made it happen." James' admiration was evident. "What about you, James? How's life in the big city?" James sighed. "It's been a roller coaster. After college, I played pro football for a while, but an injury cut my career short. Now I'm working in finance, but it's not as fulfilling as I'd hoped." Maria sensed a hint of sadness in his voice. "I'm so sorry to hear that. But you've accomplished so much." James shrugged. "Maybe, but I've always wondered what would have happened if I had stayed in Harmony." The air between them grew thick with unspoken words. Maria's mind raced with thoughts of what could have been. She decided to take a chance. "James, do you want to get out of here? Maybe we'll go for a walk." James' eyes lit up. "I'd love that." They left the gymnasium and walked through the familiar streets of their hometown. The crisp night air was invigorating, and they talked about their hopes, dreams, and regrets. Maria felt a sense of comfort and excitement she hadn't felt in years. As they walked, they found themselves at the old football field where they had spent so many nights together. They sat on the bleachers, the memories flooding back. "Do you remember our last night here before graduation?" James asked, his voice soft. Maria nodded. How could I forget? We promised to stay in touch no matter what. James looked down, regret evident in his eyes. I'm sorry I didn't keep that promise, Maria. Life just got so complicated. Maria reached out and touched his hand. I know, James. We both had our own paths to follow. James squeezed her hand. But I never stopped thinking about you. I've missed you, Maria. Tears welled up in Maria's eyes. I've missed you too, James. More than you know. In that moment, the distance and the years seemed to dissolve. They leaned in, their lips meeting in a tender, passionate kiss. It was as if the spark they had always shared reignited, burning brighter than ever. The days following the reunion were a whirlwind of emotions for Maria. She and James spent every possible moment together, rediscovering the connection that had once been so strong. They laughed, shared stories, and opened up about their pasts and their hopes for the future. One afternoon, as they strolled through Harmony's Park, James took Maria's hand and led her to a bench. He looked into her eyes, his expression serious yet hopeful. Maria, I don't want to let you go again. These past few days have been incredible, and I do not want them to end. Maria's heart soared. James, I feel the same way, but what about your life in the city? James shook his head. I've realized that success and money don't mean anything if I'm not happy, and I'm happiest when I'm with you. Tears filled Maria's eyes as she hugged him tightly. I've waited so long to hear you say that. Over the next few months, James made arrangements to transition his work closer to Harmony. He found a job that allowed him to work remotely part of the time and commute as needed. It wasn't long before he moved back to Harmony, renting a small house near Maria's bakery. Their relationship blossomed, filled with love, laughter, and support. James helped Maria expand Sugar and Spice, bringing his business acumen to the table. Together, they turned the bakery into a thriving success. On a warm spring evening, as they walked hand in hand through the park, James stopped and turned to Maria. He took a small velvet box from his pocket and knelt down on one knee. Maria Jacobs, you've always been the love of my life. Will you marry me and make me the happiest man in the world? Tears of joy streamed down Maria's face as she nodded. Unable to speak, James slipped the ring onto her finger, and they kissed, sealing their promise to each other. Their wedding was a beautiful, intimate affair held in Harmony's charming church. Surrounded by friends and family, Maria wore a simple, elegant dress, and James couldn't take his eyes off her. As they exchanged vows, the years of separation and heartache melted away, replaced by a future filled with love and promise. They danced under the stars at the reception, their hearts full. Maria looked up at James, her eyes shining with happiness. I can't believe we found our way back to each other. James smiled, pulling her close. It was meant to be, Maria. You're my past, my present, and my future. As they embraced, surrounded by the love and support of their friends and family, Maria knew that second chances were real. Their love story, once interrupted by life's twists and turns, had finally found its perfect ending.